All right, this is the final episode I can say on this format. So the triple final, the triple round, triple final, whatever you want to say, the triple double finals. This is what this is. Uh, Things happen, in real time that made me say, "Oh, let me record this." So I'll get to what I was recording, but legit, this is the final episode. Unless I have some random thoughts, and that's usually how my mind works. I have, I don't know how to say it. I'm very impulsive. I know that. Number one. Number two, I'm extremely indecisive. You know how everybody says, "Yeah, I'm working on myself." Yeah, that's not me. I won't be able to work on that at all. There is no way for me to really work on that. I do my best. That's all I can say. I won't sit here and say I'm human. Yeah. And by the way, this is going to be that type of podcast, yo. And I'll get to why I'm having, this type of podcast. So if anybody, you don't want any of those outworldly thoughts that I usually have every now and then, not so much on the conspiracy theory because, there's always a theory in the conspiracy. See, yeah, I definitely got my kufi on right now. But more so just my perspective of everything we've seen in the past couple of years and where we're going. So this is one of those episodes where, uh, I don't even know if it's Dr. Umar. It's more so, I mean, take a pick. I just don't have a kufi on. So if you looking for the jokes, and I mean, it's jokes everywhere. You can find jokes, you can find humor or anything. But if you're looking for more so me giving, even though it will be a slight review on two movies, one being older, one being, just coming out this past weekend of this recording, and everything that entails with it, then yeah, this probably is for you. But at the same time, this is the sci-fi episode. Just because, these are my thoughts that goes on, every now and then. Every now and then, I will say. I'm a very sporadic thinker, like I was saying. Very impulsive at times, very indecisive. And then I have moments where I'm just like, huh. And then, I could talk about it, but why not put it on wax? Because it entails with what I've been talking about the past couple of weeks or month or so, however long the strike has been going on since May. It entails with a movie that just came out. That's a new script, brand new, no AI, which entails with what I'm gonna go with. So, we might as well get into it just because I don't want to prolong this even more than I usually do sometimes with the chitter chatter. I will say, well, I'll get to a little bit of chitter chatter. I will say the past 3 days or so I've been recording and it doesn't feel like it. And that's the benefits of having a great tag partner. By the time this is out, I've done two, and this is not to put myself over, two, because I could be watching Ring of Honor, which I gotta remember is on. The pay-per-view that just came out, Death Before Dishonor, if I'm not mistaken. I just remembered that, and then New Japan is on. So, yeah, I should just be lazy. It's a Sunday, beautiful Sunday. It's hot as shit as usual, but I should be doing that instead of, working. But why not just work? And for sure, after this, a break is coming. I guarantee y'all a break is coming. And then by the time you see me again, it'll be in a better format, better looks. So, yeah, man, I gotta go chase these dreams. That's all I can really say. In the words of the mortal Kanye, I got big dreams, man. I got ambition, or whatever he said in that documentary, but it's true. I can't just do one thing. I talk about that a lot, too, because manifestation seems to be a real thing. Again, let's get into it. This is going to be a different type of podcast. Manifestation is, in fact, real. A family member of mine brought up that I used to write notes, and this is how banks things. I always think in real time. I'm never really thinking like 5 years from now. I'm thinking like today, tomorrow, always. I never look at yesterday. That's why I'm able to do the things that I'm able to do and think of it as, Because most people be content. I'm never going to be content as long as I'm on this planet with anything I'm doing. I could win an Oscar, a BET award for podcasting. I could, or just a BET award to be fine in general. I'll take that. I prefer to, see Sexy Red perform. Music-wise. Let me get my mind out together. But I can win whatever awards. I can make however much money me and myself and others are going to make, because we're definitely going to be millionaires. I said this years ago, I was going to be a millionaire. Why? Because I have no reason other than to believe. We live in this society now where it's all based on giving the devil credit and not God, where God created everything. They say the world is the devil's playground. I beg to differ, because ultimately you are the devil. You feel me? Ain't no man with wings running around in no onesie. This ain't cow and chicken. Literally, the dude that, or the woman that, or the person, whatever, that's you. You the one that did that. Nobody else told you not to do that. When you lying and, you being slick, doing things like that, that's the devil. Because we all God body. You're born God body. You're born from God. You were made in God's image. So for you to do anything that's not God, that's the devil. So you the devil, motherfucker. I gotta remember my pastor. Shouts out to Big John Studd. We be always talking about the cousin pastor, Reverend X, if I'm not mistaken. Definitely might be related to him. He's from South Central, so we definitely might be related. If y'all don't know the Reverend X videos, go ahead and look that up. Genius to this day. You caught me now. You nincompoop fucking poop. Go watch the video. Reverend X, if I'm not mistaken. I might put the link in the bio. He still be on, I don't know if he's been on IG Live lately or Facebook, but he's still alive, and that's all that matters. So his voice just sounds like Cook. People get on live and try to argue with him. He still cuss, but he's not as, as he used to be. Older now, but still. But, we live in a world now where people don't believe in the things that's been here for thousands of years, yo. Like, manifestation is in fact real. And I guess because if it's not manifesting on your phone, when it's cut off, you don't believe it. That's why I have no problem. I can uninstall the app. I can turn my phone off and I'll still be fine. Because I don't believe anything that comes from that phone unless I make it believable. Because everything that you believe is believable because you made it to be that. So I manifest often. But going back to what I was saying, family members told me like, yo, you used to write down thoughts and stuff like that and goals. I'm like, yo, I don't recall. I'm always like forward. And now I went back to that. Manifesting, writing goals down is definitely real. I've gotten this far not just because of hard work, not just because of God, not just because, God, body, life, intelligence, me, peace, Lord. Not just because of me, but, it's these circumstances of which you write your journey. When you write it out, it comes to fruition. Of course, you got to work, but it comes to fruition. There's no AI needed for that. So let's get into it. I don't need to go over the logistics of what's been going on with the writer's strike. Y'all know. If y'all been listening to me for the past 2 months, you know what's up. Also, too, if anybody's thinking about getting into business, do it. Don't worry about a writer's strike right now. Get in, try to get an agent, try to get some work, create. Right now is the perfect time. I think people need to create. Like with podcasts, like I keep saying there's nothing to talk about, but yet I got an episode in the tut that I'm going to drop later on this week that was originally supposed to come out for the Sunday release, but now I can push that back because of this. It's audio only, but y'all know how I look, and do you really want to see me all the time? I got messed up teeth. I need to fix that. I need to shape up. Whole bunch of stuff, so it don't really matter. But again, you know what's going on with the writer's strike. The bird definitely, I don't know if y'all can hear it, that crow can definitely tell it's a writer's strike. That's why it's sounding like that. It's a writer's strike right now, obviously, and the integral part of it is AI technology. And and its use of just writing out instead of. And I forgot I gotta watch Secret Invasion too. Yeah, it is gonna be. I'm gonna try to make this a chill day after this. Like, yo, I gotta watch. I don't have to watch Secret Invasion. I talked about it again on Black Variant. Shouts out to Black Variant X event. But I still want to finish what I start, just like I do all the time in life, even if it takes me a minute. So, not that good. If you like acting, go back and watch it. But I need to watch the latest episode, so I won't be behind on it. And then all this wrestling and shit. So yeah. So with the AI stuff, you already know, written out for the scripts instead of. And I brought out Secret Invasions because the intro was made in AI. You could tell because it's these weird abstract paintings that don't really look good, but it's the intro, so why bother? And then that tells you everything you need to know about the show. Superficial to a certain degree, but like when he asked the question about his wife, and I won't spoil it, he said we'll never know. So go back and watch that if you want. Just watch episode 4. But the AI thing I bring up is on par with what I'm saying about manifestation, you being who you are, and let the computer be the computer. You feel me? Because I'm still not hip to it. I got wind of something that helps as far as this podcast and it relates to AI, but that's probably the most I'm gonna use. I don't know about Chat GPT and CPT and D.T.P and all that. I don't know about all this stuff. I feel like I'm old school to the extent of I need to do it myself. I don't believe in a ring light. I don't believe in a lot of stuff. Like my family at home, they have a ring light. It's like, all right, I don't need all the surveillance. If somebody comes up to me, I got the old school surveillance, the Smith and Wesson. Yeah, that's Smith and West data security. That's how I believe. If somebody's doing something they're not supposed to do. So I'm not too fond of technology. I feel like you got to use your own mind for technology. And we used to just write down stuff. Like digitally, I don't believe in writing down stuff digitally all the time. Like, dude, piece of paper and a pen. Let's do that. I feel like it's better doing that anyway. I feel like they get the manifestation out. And I feel like visually, you have it in your mind because you wrote it instead of typing it in a cell phone. And then if your cell phone cracking, if you got one of these horrible ass iPhones, I can't wait to get back to Droid. But then, your battery might die while you writing. Your phone might give out. And then if you don't pay for iCloud, which is fucking insane, if you don't pay for a $1,200 phone with 164 gigs or whatever the case may be, then you assed out. So write it down, and write down anything that you want to do creative wise. Always write it down. The person that made They Cloned Tyron definitely wrote that down. You can't. And I'll get to all the conspiracy theory BS that came along with it, and it's on par with everything that just happened this past week with J Fox showing himself and giving the PSA out. The loving outpour for that is beautiful, man. Too, everybody that liked it, everybody that has something positive to say. You could truly tell who's loved generally, because it's a business of Hollywood. Like, it's a lot of people that drop dead, nobody say nothing. It's a lot of people that, and they probably fake it. And it's a lot of people, that aren't, it's a lot of devils too. That's a whole different conversation. But it's a lot of people in the business, they won't get that love. Dude got the love. I've been on record and saying before, I met him, been at the crib, all that, et cetera, et cetera. Now I'm boasting and bragging. I'm just saying what it is. This is my life, which is a weird life. But, I definitely won't be able to chat GPT, whatever, if I come up with my story. And then everything ain't for everybody to know anyway. Why you want to know my story? My life is boring. I just really believed and I did it. You feel me? It's gotten me across the country, soon to be the planet. It's gotten me to places that, most of my family members, even at this point in my life, most of my family members never been to, done things, they can't even fathom in their mind. And that's not to, deter them. It's just we all have our course in life. So And I don't believe I even made it. I don't think I've done anything. I think when I get overseas, even if I got dollars to my name, then I didn't make it. That's because it's like, dude, you made it overseas. How many people can say that you've done that? Especially in the black, population in America. How many of us can say we've been overseas? Hell, how many of us can say we've been to a different state? It's a lot of my family members never been to different states, yo. They just stay in one area the rest of their life. Especially my family side, well, I won't give all my business away. This is, free. But my family side that's from poverty, I'll say that some of them haven't even been, across the country. It's like, damn, dude, how do you even go about that? With me, it's just I pick up and leave anytime I'm ready to go. But that's just the mindset I have. And it's not the best mindset to always have that. But, we're all different in our sense. You can't AI that. You the AI. You might be Allen Iverson. You might be the answer to your life. See how I did that? But They Cloned Tyron. You can't use a chat GPT, CPT for that. You can't. It's a CPT, but, that's entailed with that movie. But you can't. This is why original creation will never die. So I've seen a couple people say they liked it. I loved it. Let me start with that. I don't have a deep review other than the stuff that made me think about, making this podcast, and then I'll get to another movie and intertwine it. But that legit was great storytelling. I will say my short review, I didn't like the use of the N-word a lot. It was used a lot, but I think I understand why they did it. And then it's creative. It's a painting. Kanye has said questionable things in his songs, like bleaching booty holes on women and, blame game, stuff like that. Easy taught me. So it's stuff that he's done, and then we revere My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is one of the greatest albums of all time, which it is, by far. If somebody said this is best one, I wouldn't even argue that. So it's creative, or creativity is all subjective because it's coming from your mind. Some people get it, some people don't. We're all wired different. Again, for me saying what I'm saying about Secret Invasion, there might be some people out there that might think it's the best show of all time. It's just how you see things. Music and movies definitely are subjective because you never know what the person is thinking as they're writing and they're shooting it. They Cloned Tyron. One of the most creative movies I've ever seen. Hands down. Like, I legit want to watch that movie again. And I just watched it last night. I don't have any problem. Like, the N-word stuff, again, that's not a big issue. Otherwise than that, I can't think of anything bad. Like, as the movie starts, you're like, oh, okay, it's about to be one of these, blavity type woke movies. It then starts to migrate into, oh, this is a sci-fi movie. Like, they say it in the title, but you don't really see it until later on. Till after the plot, the biggest plot point. Or the plot point, not the biggest plot point, but the plot point that takes us into the story. And it's like, oh, okay. And then again, it's funny, too, seeing that movie. And you have three Disney, workers. Jamie Foxx was in No Way Home, which at one point he played Electro in the Amazing Spider-Man 2, but that was Sony. But you was in No Way Home. That's Disney. John Boyega goes without saying. Finn in the Skywalker series, that wasn't good. He was in that. And then I can't now say her name, but she low-key pressured me. T.he, I think I'm messing up on her name. I'm sorry about this. If the queen ever here or whoever, I'm gonna be respectful because I believe she married. But yeah, she's in the Captain Marvel movies. It's like, there you go. So for them to be in this, and you see these characters that's prominent in the Disney movies, it's like, yo, whoa. Like, imagine seeing Finn say nigga. There's gonna be some kids that's gonna see this, that's gonna sneakily see this and like, yo, there go Finn. oh, he's saying nigga, he cussing. But more so, they weren't even cursing a lot in the movie, other than Jamie Foxx's character, which was a brilliant character. Like, yo, he need to get nominated for that character. And stick with me, we'll get to that. Just overall great acting. Everybody did a good job. Dude from the stripper show that I like, and I can't think of it. Like, yo, I'm horrible with names. I've said this so many times. Like, I have a great memory, but I'm horrible with names. But he plays the drug dealer that was zesty, or low key zesty, in the show. Can't think of it right now. Y'all gotta forgive me, but the stripper show that was on Stars. Love that show, by the way. I need to catch up on that. But yeah, he was in the movie. Everybody did a great job. Everybody did a great job, and it goes to why you gotta let people create. You gotta let people create. I didn't even look up who directed it. I look up the writer. I kind of just freestyled it like I usually do with stuff, but y'all can look it up. Y'all got these phones that y'all attach to. Some people can't live without. You can look it up and see, who he is. But whoever that person is, you get credit from me. You get credit from me. And I could just look it up right now, but then it'll throw my sense off. When you doing these, unless you want to edit heavy, unless you're doing solo episodes, yeah, you want to kind of just keep going. That's the flow of podcasting. You want to keep going. Because if it's dead air for too long, then people are like, yo, what happened? Especially if you solo, because we're just hearing you, ramble at that point. So, yeah. Shouts out to him. Give him all the credit in the world. You can't chat CPT that. All right? You can't. You got to be creative. And I think that's the blessing that we have now. Is during the writer's strike, Oppenheimer just came out this past weekend, Barbie. Those are properties for the most part. Oppenheimer is a biopic. Barbie is Barbie. Goes without saying. They Cloned Tyron is something brand new and original. So you had these two movies out. Obviously, this will get shadowed because it's a Netflix movie more so. It'll still get its props, but I feel like they could have probably put this in the theater. Not with these two movies, but they probably should have put this in the theater. I think it would have got some buzz and probably made some money. But, it's digital versus movies, and at this point, if it's something as big as these two movies being Oppenheimer and Barbie, people are going to go to the movies for that. So, I can't even, downplay it. It is what it is, and that's how it works. But to make something like this at the right time during the right strike, it's all God's timing. Just create. That's the best thing I could say. So, in the movie, they just don't play along with the clone stuff. And I talked about it with Amp on the Random Acts bonus episode. We did 2 this past week, so it'll be the second one that drops. Because more than likely he'll drop it in order because it makes sense. People having too much technology. And the black... I don't want to sound like a coon, but the black... not community, but people online, the Twitter people, TikTok people, made me almost delete TikTok this past week just because of the bullshit I see. But they made me realize how, simpleton they can be. And I'm not just talking about our people, because fucking every race has their dumbasses. I don't care what race you are. Just don't be a dumbass. In my Red Foreman voice, just dumbass. Just don't be that. It's like the whole clone, Jamie Foxx's clone, this is a marketing scheme. Dude, so if you don't know, you should know. You have IG. He got on IG. He said, I just didn't want people to see me sick. I was down. I went to hella back. I was down bad. My daughter helped me. My wife helped, or my daughter helped me. My sister helped me. And that's why, I said, yeah. Like, if you have sons, they'll definitely take care of you. But men are always in their own world. And they can be nonchalant. That's why you got to have a daughter. Me, this is coming from somebody with no kids that I know of. This is coming from somebody with no kids. But if I were to have kids, yeah, just give me daughters, man. They'll take care of me. Definitely take care of me. Make sure I'm good. Like, So that's why I inspire them more so I have daughters. But whatever, if I do have kids, you know, I only want to say God willing, you know, unfortunately, because I don't want to have kids. But if I do, but at the same time, God is going to do what God going to do. That's why I always say, I don't want this or I don't want that, because God going to do whatever God going to do. If you don't want something, sometimes God will give it to you because it's what's best. It's not to harm you. It's not to, you know, do anything, you know, because God doesn't work like that. It's nothing evil. It's just the point of this is what you need, and this has to happen for a bigger purpose than you, because it's greater than you. We are all just, you know, pieces in this thing called life. We all play a role. We are small compared to this universe, but we all are big to somebody's universe. So be big to somebody's universe in this solar system of life. But yeah, then the conspiracy theories came out in April with the clone shit. I don't even know how the clone shit started with us, with black people. That shit doesn't make sense. Because I never understood that. Like, why would I clone somebody? Because a clone could die too. Why would I clone them just to make another clone? And they talk about in the movie, they actually executed well. Like, spoiler alert, even though it's not, come on, it's part of the plot. John Boyega's character, damn it, and I just had the name too. I swear, great memory, but for the most part, I remember some of the stuff I say. But great memory, but like that part of my brain with names does not work. And it's an interesting name he has, but his character gets shot like twice or one time. And then it starts to reveal like, oh, okay, we just take a clone out of this refrigerator, put them on a bed, give them all your memories, and then keep it going. And then it's like a reoccurring thing every day. Keith Sutherland is in it, and that caught me off, like when he's first introduced, you know, being like the mob guy for like these invincible people as they talk about. I was like, yo, is that Keith Sutherland? That's 24? And I kept looking like, damn, because he had the southern accent even though he's British. And I mean, John Boyega is British, and he has a sort of southern accent in this as well. So I was like, damn, that is Keith Sutherland when they get to one scene. So I don't even know how black people got to the point, going back to that, how they got to the point of, you know, clones. I don't get it. But yeah, if one clone dies, you just keep making a clone and just keep making one. So you got to age one up. If this one dies, so every year they just keep making a new one. So when this one died. That sounds expensive and it doesn't sound feasible. So we want to make sure if the original person dies, we just keep making clones of this person. But then if that clone dies, then we got to make another one. Like, make it make sense to me. Maybe I ain't a science major. They have said they've been cloning animals, so maybe they've cloned humans, but who gives a fuck? You still gonna eat chicken? Like, they talking about now they just outsourced clone meat. Like, you've had clone meat since like 1968. They've been cloning animals for decades now because there's too many people on the planet. You've been eating fucking Chicken Littles descended. Like, dude, there's only so many. Like, think about this. And this is coming from somebody that eats meat, pause. Even though I'm going to get back to my vegan stuff, and even then that doesn't matter because you didn't make it. Somebody could have farted next to it. It doesn't matter. But it's like, dude, like, they've been doing this forever. What can you do? Starve? So it goes back to the same concept of if they're cloning humans, what's the point? We're just going to keep doing it over and over and over to sustain their living? Like, let's say one of the clones in public and they die. Then it's going to be like, well, you got to say, oh, they just died. So what was the point of making all these clones if they was going to die? Just to keep them here? And how is that financially stable? The fuck? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just looking out the window and it's a piece of rolling paper just moving and look like by itself. That might be the government right there listening to what I'm saying. Anyhow, they talk about that. They talk about how music is part of, you know, hypnotize. It's a term for that, but they talk about that as well, and rap music, and then they switch the frequencies, which I believe something is to that. That's what I'm saying. This is a great movie. for many reasons, because stuff like that has been talked about for years, and for them to execute in the movie, and it's a scene where all three of the main characters are leaving the cloning facility, and they go through a club. It's a white DJ, and the white DJ plays a certain song, and he says we're playing a certain song. Then the people chase after him, and Jamie Foxx's character had a hilarious line like, "Oh, this is some Thriller shit." Great, just great comedic timing by him as well. This is his funniest role in years. Not saying that the movie Night Shift wasn't funny. Night Shift was actually pretty good too. And on the side note of that, motherfuckers was talking about this clone shit. Why you ain't talking about vampires? I believe in vampires more than I do clones. Like, look at Steve Buscemi. That motherfucker looks like a vampire for real. That's Castlevania. If they ever want to make Castlevania and cast him as Dracula, there you go. And with Christopher Walken. Oh, Mel Gibson talked about that. Y'all look that up. So I ain't going to get into that. But yeah, look that up as well. Mel Gibson said that. I probably believe it, because Mel Gibson is out of his mind. I always believe crazy people too, yo. Or quote unquote crazy people. You always got to believe the people. I'm going to get to that in a minute. Somebody they call crazy. Anytime somebody's called a madman, believe him. Mel Gibson is out of his mind, but the motherfucker might be a genius. He keep doing shit. Like, if y'all know the movie that he backed that's out right now about human trafficking, yeah. That's the shit y'all need to be talking about. Fuck a clone. Talk about that. But that's neither here nor there. So, going back to the movie, it's like, dude, they talk about music, which is real. This fight music, tear the club up music, and then they play some love music that stop people from fighting. I believe that just because we see what music has an influence on people or young people this day. You know what I mean? Like, when I was coming up, we had the goofy ass tunes like Shake That Laffy Taffy, Can't Stop, Won't Stop, and things like that. Spaceship, I'm starting to see spaceships geeked up. I can't Scotty beam me or whatever. We had songs like that, but then we'll have like drug dealing type music. Like, I was listening to Hell Real, unfortunately. I was listening to Dipset, stuff like that, cooking crack. But now it's more so catered, and that's a whole music conversation to the same shit. You know what I mean? The same violence, the gratuitous violence, running up on your ops. The shit sound, and I keep thinking like, yo, what if this is on par with the music today? Which it definitely is, because it's the same beat, it's the same patterns, it's the same rhymes. Where the fuck are all these rappers coming from? I mean, you could just take a camera, you could take a microphone and just become a rapper overnight. But it's like these names, it's like, dude, these are walking Xbox like creators. What the fuck, bro? And that piece of paper just came over here. Yeah, this might be a conspiracy theory. So it's like these creations, created character as rappers, where are they coming from? All right. So the clone stuff, I'll talk about that real quick. Otherwise than that, I'll say watch the movie. They talk about the chicken, which is hilarious because it's like Black Dynamite with the liquor. But the chicken makes people goofy. I'm still trying to figure out that as to why that would control black people. But and that scene where they first discovered the baking powder with Jamie Foxx is fucking hilarious. Like I said, this is his best comedic movie in a while. But the clone stuff, and I'll get to, what I want to get to far as the AI stuff even more. I knew, not even knew, because nobody said anything afterwards when the movie came out. Everybody just, when stuff happens, people just like immediately, when celebrities, they start immediately thinking of conspiracy theories instead of people getting sick. He said he was sick. He didn't want to see people. He didn't want to see people. Or people, he didn't want people to see him like that when the hospital tubes down his throat. That's what he said. And then he said, as far as the clone stuff, and then he was like, got you. This is on his IG being Jamie Foxx. But it's at a point now where people run with shit so much that you even have to say it. And again, he's better than me. Like, if y'all look up Bernie Mac death and all that shit, it's like, dude, come on, man. Really? Like, why use a celebrity out of everybody else, not politicians, the most powerful people on the planet? Use that. The banking people. You want to use a celebrity. Got you. Don't get it. Think his shit is stupid. Animals I understand because you got to feed people, and it's billions of people on this planet. It's only so many. It's billions of people, but yet there's like I feel like millions of McDonald's. So you put two and two together, and then you see what happens with McDonald's food. So yeah, something like that I believe. So I knew when they showed the scene of him seeing himself in the refrigerator, you know, be it that I'm not on Twitter. I just need to get on to see if people say anything. I doubt it because my algorithms is just people I'm cool with. But I can only imagine the things people were saying. Like, oh, he was seeing himself and that's him. Stop it, bro. I won't even feed into that anymore. I'll say simply just watch that. Watch the movie. I want to watch it again. It was great. But again, there's so much stuff out as far as sports I got to watch right now. Like, I legit forgot ROH came out. And then G1 Climax is out, but pause. But it's like, I just, with New Japan these days, like, all right, I'll watch it when I can, because fucking, hey, dude. 3 hours of 4, 5, 6 day events is way too much. What the fuck is that? All right. So, originality. Can't chat GPT. I mean, if they make a new Terminator, they might have to do that. I think they are making actually a new Terminator. Sophia Stewart, y'all look her up. That's how I want to do that. Me and Amp talked about Terminator 1 and 2, how he stole the clothes in the beginning, which is hilarious. I've watched Terminator 2 countless times, yo. Countless times. I'm definitely going to watch it again. Just because I want to talk about that in the sense of where we are now. It was in fact said years ago that by her, the creator, again, Sophia Stewart, I remember that name. You could look up her on podcasting. She had a lawsuit against Warner Brothers and one more studio, whoever owns the Terminator property, because they stole the idea. And I cut a whole James Cameron shoot promo, as I've done before, about how this dude is a liar. He's fugazi, as Max B would say. Because me and Amp talked about it. This guy is a former trucker, as I said. All them CDL jokes that was stolen, that was corny, that was played out, and the China jokes, this person was actually a CDL driver. Then he tried to get into business. He was looked at as a fool. He wasn't good. Same thing as Avatar. Yeah, people revere it because it looked good. That shit is trash. That's just used from, feel like Thumbelina, Fern Gunley, or whatever the fuck. Used from that and just taken, in strides. Same thing with Terminator. The idea of Terminator originated from Sophia Stewart, who is the mother of the Matrix, as they call her. Read the book or just look it up. The Matrix was supposed to be the prequel to Terminator. Same thing I said with your phone. If you turn your phone off, you get out the Matrix, quote unquote. All right, you get off social media, you out the Matrix, quote unquote. Unplug yourself. That's what it is. When your phone dies, you unplug from it. So that was supposed to be the prequel to Terminator. And Terminator is now supposed to be about AI. She talked about this in the 80s. Early 80s. When the idea got stolen by James Cameron and everybody else. She had $1 billion lawsuit against it. Against Warner Brothers and the film industry in general. Imagine she would have won that, which, that wasn't going to happen because ideas get stolen always. But you got $2 billion franchises being The Matrix and Terminator. Yeah, you ain't seeing a little bit of that money. And it goes with the strike. Multi-billionaire companies not trying to pay people what they worth. If they would have just bought the script from her, they wouldn't have to worry about that. That's how greed works. When you thinking too much about yourself and not nobody else, all right, you only can sustain floating for so long. God's purpose is for all of us to get back to each other. So if you haven't seen the Terminator Matrix, look at it. The way it is, it's on sense of where we are now. And then it's called science fiction for a reason. It's science and fiction. All right? Science is everywhere around you. The cell phone that I have in my hand, however I record, that's science. The fictionalization of it is what I choose to do with it. But it's always non-fiction and fiction. No, it's a verb, but yeah, that it goes hand in hand with each other for a reason. And it's always truth in these movies. It's always some type of subliminal to that movie, to movies. Just like I talked about, They Cloned Tyron. It's the same thing with Terminator and Matrix. You just have to make it look good. Dress it up and make it good for me. Whatever the fuck that means. You got to make it that way in order for people to watch it. If she just talked about this, just dialogue, nobody's watching. So you have to make it in that way. Neo is based on Muhammad Ali. She talked about how Muhammad Ali is the black superhero. What does everybody wear in that movie? Black. Because everything comes from black. See? But you got so-called white people wearing, black. Everything comes from black. Not just a skin color, but everything comes from black. So Neo, if you didn't know, was based on Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali is our superhero. Superhero of the planet. Greatest superhero probably ever lived. That's non-fiction. But she fictionalized Neo to be him. It's like the one. When you hear the stories about Muhammad Ali, it sounds like he wasn't real. Same thing with Bruce Lee. It's like gods among men. They don't sound real. They sound like fictional characters. Fictional characters. And then Morpheus being a black man, that's guiding you through the Matrix. How about that? Then when you get to the fourth movie, Jada Pinkett is basically the Morpheus type character. Idea stolen. They ran with Terminator. I feel like if she had control, Terminator would probably been like 2 movies. She just actually came out with a 4th book, I think, before the movie even came out. Because there's a couple variations of that book. It's like 4 of them that I know of for the Matrix book. But the Terminator was the sequel to that. It was started out again with the Matrix being your cell phone, whatever you choose to plug yourself into, gambling, alcoholism. You got to unplug yourself from that so you can get out that reality. Into now being technology, AI, Terminators. It's growing from there. No idea is original under the sun. Yes, that is in fact true. Shouts out to the GOAT. Nah, no idea is original. Well, you always have to ask, where did the idea come from to make it unoriginal after somebody else uses it? And you think about life in general, where do you get these ideas from? Where do they come from? It's otherworldly. More so imagination. Everything comes from creation. So the best thing I could say is always create. And that's what they did with They Cloned Tyron. Sophia Stewart did with that. I say thank you to all creators out there. Those 2 individuals. Now, I greatly apologize for not knowing the creator, They Cloned Tyron. Anybody that come up with original idea, it's not that easy. This shit is hard. Like, this is one of the first episodes I've done in a while where it's like, all right, I'm off the top of the head like I do with all my stuff. But it was easy to create this because it's on the whim of where are we going? And I know I said I would talk about where are we going as a society. I'm not doing that because who the fuck knows? We might be in a dumpster, especially in America. But create while you still can. Do what you can while you still here before the robot starts stealing your ideas. So that's all you can really do. So shouts out to the creators. I'll say that again. And again, I have to get more creative with how I do this podcast. So seriously, this is the final episode. And knowing me, it might not be the, triple double final episode, but I feel like this really is because I want to be in studio. And this is just on the whim of let's just do it. So usual, thank you all for being here. I will be back in a couple of weeks, unless I change my mind. But at this point, seriously, you get 2 episodes. Actually, you know what? I know how to do this. So if you see any content that might sound dated, that's because I just decided to, put stuff out until I come back from hiatus. because you got to keep the algorithms going. Always keep the algorithms going, no matter what. Stay creative, man. That's the best thing I could say is stay creative. Yeah, I might put some old episodes out. Just, you got to keep the algorithms going. You got to put out content every day. So actually, as of this recording, I just changed my mind. That happens a lot in my life. I changed my mind. I will, in fact, just put this episode out. It will be an episode next week. It might be dated. Just work with me. But you got to have some content out. But when I actually do a live episode again, it will look better. Won't be on StreamYard, and we'll go from there. Until then, I say, man, I love y'all. Everybody that's here, the new subscribers, everybody that's like the video. That's why I said I got to keep this going on this platform. And because even though my brother does what he does, whenever he's ready to record, he'll come back. But it's forever Banks versus Davis. It's not just Banks. It's not just, P.ardon the Banks. It's Banks versus Davis for a reason, because that's my guy. And we create this together. Because, again, it's not about me. So, until then, man, the best thing I could tell everybody is, man, live long and prosper. Godspeed. I'll see you soon.